It is draft season, baby, and I'm gonna be honest, I am going to be doing all of this learning alongside of you. In prior years of this show, we have done a pretty decent amount of work researching, covering, making videos about NHL prospects to be. The guys in the upcoming NHL Draft were always a hot topic because, quite frankly, one of my three teams was always terrible. Ever since we started making these videos full-time in 2020, one of the Canucks or the Red Wings or the Canadiens were always finding themselves in the lottery conversation somehow, and it gave us reason to talk about the prospects in the ways in which we did. This year, however, things are different because all three of my teams went decently far into the regular season, and finishing off the years, you got the Red Wings, who are in the 12th overall spot, and the Canucks, who are hovering around the 15 range. Montreal is in the 16 range, and so it wasn't really an emphasis on the channel this year to really jump into the top prospects of the draft and make videos and research about them, how they would fit on whichever team, just because, I just didn't really prefer talking about San Jose or Chicago, adding a Matthew Schaefer or Michael Misa or something like that. It was like, okay, well, the good prospect teams are going to get more good prospects. Is that really something that we can make a video about? I'd much rather talk about some of my favorite teams. So in this video, we are diving into one of my favorite teams, because earlier this morning we had ourselves Corey Pronman of The Athletic posting The Athletic's first 2025 NHL Mock Draft of this season. And with this in mind, picks 1 through 32 have all been assigned by Corey Pronman, and I wanted to dive into the Red Wings. Considering the fact that Detroit is in that 12th overall spot, they do have the best pick out of each of my favorite teams. The Athletic is paid for material, so we're not going to go out there and screenshot the article directly, but I will talk about some of the stuff that was brought up in there, and the link is going to be in the description if you want to look at that yourself too, and if you have an Athletic subscription. To help us out, though, let's go over onto this article published by Jack Sutherland earlier this morning too. Detroit Red Wings first-round projected pick in the draft has been revealed. This is just an article that summarizes what Corey Pronman goes out there and writes about. Pronman's mock draft sees the Red Wings selecting Windsor Spitfire forward Jack Nesbitt with the 12th overall pick. Nesbitt is a big, competitive two-way center who has enough offense to justify a top 15 pick. Detroit has picked a lot of centers recently, though, so I could see it go towards someone like Jackson Smith, alternatively. If you go over to the article itself, that is exactly what the piece says. It's just a very short write-up here. Big, competitive two-way center, enough offense to justify a top 15 pick. And I know what y'all are thinking. I'm looking at the comments, I'm seeing what folks are saying about the Red Wings and their draft picks. Could you imagine what the Wings fanbase would say if Steve Yzerman took yet another two-way center? First it was Kasper, then it was Danielson, then you got the two-way winger and Michael Brenseg-Newgard. Sure, you got Axel Sandin-Pellikka in there too. You've got a bunch of just two-way guys, no high-tier offensive talents. And say what you want about Marco Kasper, that guy's great, but he was not supposed to be what he is right now. First-line left winger for Larkin and Raymond? No, that's not what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a two-way center down the middle. Face-off winning, hard ballin', just an absolute dog on the forecheck. He was supposed to be that guy. Nate Danielson was supposed to be more of a two-way center who had a bit of a playmaking edge to his game. And now you have Jack Nesbitt, who is being written about over here, as another Red Wings target for 12th overall. Now, let's dive into the scouting report on elite prospects, and then I wanted to go back over to the first article we had seen, because Jack Nesbitt is an 18-year-old, 6'4", 183-pound left-handed center. He was born on January 12th, 2007, which just kind of... that just blows my mind. 2007 kids are getting drafted into the NHL? That's ridiculous. But he is ranked on Elite Prospects here as a consolidated ranked 33rd overall. Elite Prospects has him at number 42. McKenzie and Button have him at 23 and 24. Tony Ferrari on the Hockey News has Nesbitt at 58. The Hockey News, Kennedy has him at 19, McKean's at 25, Future Considerations at 30, Daily Faceoff at 30. He is the 15th ranked North American skater by NHL Central Scouting, and then Sam Constantino has him at number 15. The rankings are varying quite heavily here, with a rough average of about 33. Elite Prospects having him at 42 and Sam Constantino having him at 15 is a really big range, so this is the kind of guy that I don't really know if the Wings would be too expected to take this guy. We know Stevie Y likes to take his swings. Nate Danielson probably wasn't supposed to go as high as he did. Even other guys throughout other years, I mean, Mo Seider is the obvious one. He definitely went a lot higher than people expected. But Jack Nesbitt, as a big guy who's got two-way qualities, posted up 64 points in 65 OHL games played this season, 25 goals, and 39 assists. He was just under a point per game in his draft-eligible season, and he had 10 points in 12 games in the playoffs as well. If you go over to the article that we read on Red Wings Insider, this is what Nesbitt's scouting report says from Neutral Zone Hockey. Nesbitt is a prototypical power forward center with an impressive combination of size, skating ability, and a developing offensive skill set. At 6'4", his frame and reach make him a challenging matchup for opponents, especially when he uses his body to protect the puck rather than exposing the puck to make high-risk plays. While he demonstrates flashes of high-end potential, his lack of consistent physical engagement, suboptimal finishing, and moderate playmaking currently limit his effectiveness. Nesbitt's ability to develop explosiveness in his skating, improve his offensive efficiency, and enhance his physical presence will determine whether he can evolve into a reliable NHL middle six center. So there are some things that he needs to work on, but he could become, let's say, at the very best, a top 6 guy, a second-line center, maybe a really strong third-line center, power forward guy with some two-way qualities, a guy who could use his physical tools to help out whichever team drafts him. If you head over to mynhldraft.com, you'll see some other reports from Jason Pukala of Sportsnet, for example. Nesbitt has grown tall in his youth and has loads of room to add more weight and strength to his frame. It's impossible to teach size, and Nesbitt has it in spades. He approaches the game with a combination of power and skill. Scott Wheeler of The Athletic said that Nesbitt is a big, tall, strong center who looks like a man and yet still has room to get stronger. He's also strong in the faceoff circle, reliable on and off the puck, with some of the complementary skills you need to look for in a bigger pivot, including good hands in tight and on tips, and a willingness to battle, go to the net, and then release into the corners to get pucks back and go to work on the cycle. Mike Kennedy of Future Considerations said that Nesbitt is a highly effective net front presence, tough to contain, and positions himself around the net to jar pucks loose and capitalize on rebounds. Defensively, he demonstrates a strong understanding of positioning and uses his long reach to disrupt plays and transition the puck up ice. So the question I'm tossing out there to you is, based off of everything we're seeing here, is this the kind of guy that you think the Wings would or could or will even draft? Jack Nesbitt, everybody, a two-way center with some power forward-like qualities, a guy who maybe maxes out as a really good third-line center or a decent second-line center with the already noted presences of MBN, Nate Danielson, as well as that same Marco Kasper. Do you think Nesbitt is really a meaningful addition to this Red Wings prospect pool, assuming that Corey Pronman's mock draft goes 100% correct and the Red Wings actually do end up taking this guy? As I had said at the beginning of this video, I have not really been paying attention to the prospects this much this year compared to any other year. It's just been a pretty down year for me in terms of looking at the draft and understanding which prospects should be ranked where. I took a step back for a multitude of reasons, but also it's the fact that I think there are a lot of other really good scouting report people on YouTube that I would rather watch instead of myself. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this one dude, Jack Nesbitt, and whether or not you think the Red Wings should draft him. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.